Yo YouTube, this is DFishFan back with my favorite installment videos. Cards not to forget. So you know the drill. These are 5 cards that you should not forget. So let's get on with them. Alrighty. First one, fulfillment of the contract. So it is a equip spell. I'll read it for you. Pay 800 life points. Select one ritual monster from your graveyard and special summon it to your side of the field, and equip it with this card. When this card is destroyed or removed, when this card is destroyed, remove the equipped monster from play. So, I don't know if they've updated the wordings. This is a pretty old card. It's from FET, so I don't know what that is. But nonetheless, I see this being as a premature burial. It was more abusable when Bryanak was out, obviously. But, there's still cards that bounce cards on the field. The main one that comes to mind is Mist Valley Falcon, stuff like that. But it's a premature burial for ritual monsters, which I think is pretty decent. A lot of people talk about Exceed Reborn, because of the ability to bring back Exceeds from the grave, and how important that is. Well, that also translates to this card as well, because if you run a deck with ritual monsters in the first place, they're most likely going to be the main focus of the deck, whether it's Herald or Relinquish, which I think are the two most prominent ritual monsters. So fulfillment of the contract, you pay a measly 800 life points, and then you're able to special it right there. So does it have to be in attack mode? No, it just has to be a special it on your side of the field. So if you go Herald, pay 800 life points, special Herald in defense, you got a wall once again. That's very annoying, and that your opponent usually has to minus just to get around. So that's pretty, or at least 1 for 1. So that's pretty good in my opinion, and I think this card, I want to build I have a couple decks in mind around Herald and stuff, and I might try it out on DN. So let me know what you guys think. Next one, we have Quackimero Ice. Quackimeros are becoming a little bit more talked about with Rockstun being out there, which I think is a pretty good rogue deck this format. But nonetheless, let's talk about Quackimero Ice, which I found while looking through my Quackimeros. It says, during each of your end phases, destroy this card unless you send 1 Iron Core of Quackimero from your hand to the graveyard. So, just a normal Quackimero effect. Or reveal 1 continuous spell card in your hand. Okay? So that's a pretty rare occurrence right there, that you have a continuous spell card in your hand, because usually if you're running a deck with continuous spell cards, the only ones that come to mind are maybe like Six Samurai. I really can't even think of any other ones at the moment. Maybe like the Water Hazard or like the Zombie. They're more like text, but the Valhalla, stuff like that. But anyways, so you have to send it to the graveyard, or reveal it during the end phase. So you don't reveal a type, you reveal a continuous spell card. And then it says, its effect is you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard to destroy 1 special summon monster on the field. So I'm sure you can see why I like it. Quackimero Ice, Water, level 4, 1900 attack, 1200 defense, Aqua type. And it can destroy a special monster. It's not even once per turn. You can just send a card for a special summon monster. So, sorry, my cat was trying to get in the way. But, so, it's 1900 and it can destroy all special summon monsters on the field. That's pretty ridiculous, in my opinion. That's probably why they made it so you had to reveal a continuous spell or send the Iron Core, because that is a great effect in my opinion. And I think I want to build a deck around it. So I'm going to playtest on DM with this as well. Next up, another ritual support, Earth Chant. So what this does is this card is used to ritual summon any earth monster. You must also offer monsters from your hand or field whose total level of stars equal the level of stars of the ritual monster you are attempting to ritual summon, blah 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 blah. It's the same ritual effect. So pretty much, instead of having to use a specific ritual card, this lets you ritual summon any earth monster. So if there's ever an earth ritual, I'm not aware of any right now that are worth using, but if there might be some right now, who knows. And this card is definitely easy access to it, so definitely keep that in mind. Solar Flare Dragon. Now, I know a lot of you old players, not old age-wise, but older in terms of like how long you've been playing the game, might recognize this card. I believe it was used back in the day when it first came out. I'm not sure. But it's a fire, level 4, 1500 attack, 1000 defense. So not that great of stats, Pyro. But it says this card cannot be attacked if there's another Pyro-type monster on the field. So 2 Solar Flare Dragons is a lockdown. And this card inflicts 500 damage to your opponent's life points during each of the end phases. So, 500 is not a lot. I'm gonna, that's pretty obvious. But if you have 2 of these, that's 1,000 per end phase. Pretty good, and they can't attack you. But in addition to that, the main reason why I chose this card to be in this segment right now for this video is because, in case you don't know, in the OCG, they are the next structure deck. I'm not sure if it's the next one. I think the next one for everyone is the water, like Abyss something, because they're doing the water support. But fire is the one after that. So fire is getting a structure deck, and the way the structure decks have been going, they're pretty broken. Going back to the Machina one. So I wouldn't be surprised if fire is a lot more playable. It's one of my personal favorite archetypes. I like some of the support that they have. And I think this card, if maybe they have a field spell that has a good effect and also raises the monster's attack by 500, all of a sudden this becomes a 2000 beater. Even if it's just 300 like Dark Worlds, it becomes an 18 beater, which is a lot more playable than 15. And it burns every end phase. And you can even, I think that's an overlooked effect, that you can just normal summon this first turn. This is the only card I'm aware of that's a monster that you can deal damage first turn. Like, open your 6 cards. Once you draw, normal summon, set 2 back row, you deal 500. That's pretty good in my opinion. So definitely a card I'm going to be keeping an eye on with the fire support. And then one card that the last card of the segment, a card I actually pulled for the locals this week, Chronomali Colossal Head. So it's a Earth, level 4, 800 attack, 1600 defense, rock type. You can banish this card from your graveyard to target one level 3 or higher attack position monster on the field. Change it to face up or face down defense position, and the effect of Chronomali Colossal Head can only be used once per turn. This is one of my definitely a card that I see a lot of potential in. So you guys are obviously aware of cards like Tsukuyomi, Book of Moon. They're at 1 on the ban list. Well, this does the exact same thing, except you don't have to normal summon it, and its only requirement is that it has to be in attack already, which makes sense, and it has to be level 3 or higher. So you can't do it to exceeds. But in my opinion, this is a pretty amazing card because it is just used from your graveyard, which you all know how good card effects in the graveyard can be. So the only drawback is that it seems like there's not a lot of cards that need to be booked or that need to be flipped in face down defense position. The first thing that comes to mind is Worms for me. Obviously Gravekeeper Spy, but with Necro Valley you're not going to be able to remove it from the graveyard. So that's the only drawback with this and Spy. But if you're using Gravekeeper Spy for like the +1 effect, like maybe you're using an old Synchro Cat type version, or where you get to just special summon it, or I see a lot of people just splashing three spies in a Descendant. Who knows? Maybe you could take this in there. But it's definitely something I like a lot. I see a lot of potential, maybe in a type of rock monster, like Legendary Jujutsu Master or something like that, where you can still use the rock stun, shit like that. And remember, it doesn't have to be your monster, it can be your opponent. So if they have like a Stardust or something that you can't even get over, you banish this from the graveyard. It's a face down Stardust with 2000 defense. That's a lot easier to deal with than a face up attack position, 2500. So definitely a card to keep an eye on, as well as the other 4 mentioned in this video. So let me know what you guys think. Remember to keep this segment going by pressing the like button right underneath, should be down there. And if you can favorite it, that would be awesome as well. I am trying to be more active, as you guys can see with these videos. I miss my YouTube channel. I really want it to be successful once again. So I'm gonna try to bring you guys more segments, more cards not to forget. And yeah, I'll see you guys around. Laters.